Hello. No, nada. Now? Yes. Yes, now. Okay. Hi, everyone. Let's get up, please, and do the Pledge of Allegiance. The chairman of the commission is not present today, but I would like to do roll call. Commissioner Mike? And I'm here, Ana Morales. Do we go down through you all?
Yeah, just, you can go right down the agenda. The approval of minutes, there's no minutes available, is my understanding, but
Okay. Great. So we don't have minutes available now, but we'll make them public when they are. Great. And then we will keep tabled matters tabled until next meeting. Do we need to make a motion for that? Okay, great. So for new business, we have 22-20 Union Street. Section 12, applying for an all alcohol beverage license.
Good evening.
Hi, good evening. Please state your name and your business for the record.
My name is Danilo Gomez. I'm the attorney for 2220 Union Fair Management, doing business as Capicua Lounge. This is Miss Frances Lugo, who's the proprietor of the business.
Mike, do we have any questions at the moment for this? Can you all tell us a little bit about your business and what your plans are?
Miss Commissioner, it'll be our pleasure. The business has been closed for quite some time. It's a location that's a gateway to the city. Miss Lugo's plan is to open up a restaurant with a Latin fusion menu that is welcoming to everyone. The current capacity is indoors about 99, outdoors about 200. Miss Lugo's intention is to have approximately half that amount of people at the location at any given time, weather permitting. There's a main structure that that does allow for table seating, but there's also an outside patio that is used weather permitting. The one thing that isn't included in the packet is the menu. Currently, there's a chef that's developing a menu for the location, which I'm happy to forward to the board as soon as we receive it. The intention is to have the location open from 7 a.m. to approximately 2 p.m. on Friday, 1 a.m. Saturday through Thursday. Roger. In that case, that would be the intention, to be able to offer a wide menu of beverages and food to the patrons at the given available time slots. Ms. Lugo has a background in hospitality since 2002. She's been working for hotels and restaurants for quite some time. We submitted a resume, which I'm happy to circulate again electronically if it's not in front of you. I do understand that the system was down yesterday and today, so we had a couple of issues submitting a couple of the affidavits necessary for the abutters list. We did circulate the abutters list for the 13th and for the 20th. Those will get submitted to the town. Initially, this business was this transaction was to be a transfer. There were some things that were outside of our control, and we approached the commission to have this done as a new license. And my understanding is that the existing proprietor is here today. We have the support of Ms. Lugo's husband, Richard McDermott, sitting in the back. We also have the support of the landlord, Mr. Fasella, who's present, and we're looking forward to opening up the establishment again and being a bright spot for the city. And we're ready for any questions, respectfully.
Thank you.
I'm sorry?
We did something on this, right?
I don't believe so.
Just a point of information, Mr. Commissioner, we had this address, I believe, come back. There was a decision for La Cava Restaurant, which was previously at this location. And there was a decision from the ABCC that was remanded back to this board with regards to La Cava, which did not apply for license in 2022.
Thank you.
Officer Cano, do you have any questions, or?
I just wanted to, just as far as security and issues of security cameras, those kinds of things that are important for the safety of the workers, employees, and also the visitors, make sure that that's all squared away and taken care of. I will be visiting, so if you have any questions then, but I'm sure it's all within the context of whatever you're doing now. So it's a pre-existing business, so I'm sure everything is within.
Officer Corneau, if I may, I believe the regulation is still that you need to be able to go into the videos at least 14 days after, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
And that's what I advise my client. Okay.
Captain Delaney?
No questions. If you need any assistance getting the business ready from the fire department, we'll let that help.
Thank you.
Mike?
Thank you. Mike Amano, Director of Inspectional Services. I spoke with Commissioner Dave Palumbo today. I know he hasn't visited the property yet. He'll be visiting with Captain Delaney. Just for purposes of the occupancy, I know you said that you did not intend to have more than 50 people, I think it was. It looks like it's about 700 square feet indoors. Often the issue comes up with bathroom usage and indoor versus outdoor occupancy and what to do if it starts raining in the middle of the day. So each area will have its own occupancy load, but just be mindful of, depending on weather, there may not be people allowed into indoors, and it's important to have somebody with some sort of count to keep track of that occupancy. And your tables and chairs will also change your occupant load inside. So you may be able to have 100 people if there was nothing else in that room, but often with tables and chairs, that calculation will change. But we would be happy to work with you. We're excited to see that there's some life being breathed back into that building. So we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Commissioner Light?
She's going to be the manager on site?
The manager on site is going to be Luigi Adieco, and he did file an application. He wasn't able to be here today, but Ms. Lugo does intend to be present at the location at least 80% of the time.
As long as one of is going to be there, her or him, okay?
That's right.
And I do not have any questions.
I make a motion that we approve it.
Second. So moved. Roll call.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you again. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is Tejo Liquors. I'm sorry.
Hello, good evening.
Hi, good evening. Could you please state your name and your business for the record?
Sure thing. My name is Kinjal Patel, and the business that I represent is Stacia Liquors, DBA Mount Vernon Liquors.
Do we have any questions?
Just a point of information, I can give you some background on this, Madam Chair and Mr. Commissioner. This was a decision that was appealed to the ABCC. The ABCC has since heard an appeal and has remanded this back to your board. They're recommending that you find no further action on this business and that you allow it to retain its license. And no questions from Inspectional Services.
Do we have any questions from Officer Cano?
No questions.
Captain Delaney?
I have a couple, it's going to be minor ones. We know what the violation was when the club closed, the liquor store closed, right?
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing you.
You knew what the violation was when it,
Yes, I do.
okay. Now, I'm hoping it doesn't happen again, and also, if it does, it's going to be probably worse than it is, okay? So I would say, just be careful, make sure they check everything.
Absolutely. We have taken more than normal measures before we open. We don't anticipate opening for a little while until we can get everything taken care of and making sure that everything is fully regulated.
I don't have any further questions.
Make a motion to approve their license back.
Second. Roll call.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is Max Trey La Cava.
Just a point of information on this, Madam Chair. This item was put on the agenda by former Chair Santiago. Max Trey, Inc., DBA La Cava, again, was at 2220 Union Street. This licensee did not reapply for 2022. So by virtue of not applying, they no longer hold a license. It may be appropriate for you to just dismiss this item from the agenda with no further action.
Make a motion to approve.
Second. Roll call.
Yes.
Yes. Fourth on the agenda is Blue Lounge, located at 2 Amesbury Street.
Good evening, Madam Chair.
Hi, good evening. Could you please state your name and business for the record?
Attorney Howard Berger, Andover Law Office, representing Blue Lounge.
Thank you. Can we please get a little background on this?
Good evening, Madam Chair. I have some information regarding this incident. So it took place at Blue Lounge. Apparently there was a fight inside the restaurant. This is dated back from April the 27th. It appears to be an investigation from the 24th where an incident took place. And it was an investigation that took place. So the individual was interviewed, and he was struck by an object in the eye of his face. The incident basically was followed up, and we were able to identify the suspect through investigation of who did what, and the subject was brought forth to the licensing board. Unfortunately, some time transpired between the incident and now, so that's why we're hearing the case now. The idea was to take preventive measures to try and fix the issues that have been happening over there, which I believe they have. The individuals, perhaps they should I'd like for them to let them know about, a little bit about what occurred. I think that the report itself is preliminary, and there's a subsequent report that I perhaps would like to add to the incident, which I don't have here, but apparently actually I do. Just give me a few minutes, and they can, if you have any questions for them.
Thank you. Commissioner Mike?
Not right now, I want to hear it.
Madam Chair? So, some information that came to light to me was in regards to the club itself, about what they've been trying to do in order to not have glass bottles in their club. And I would like to see if we can give more time to this incident so I can get more information. I don't know if that's possible, but my understanding is that when the individual wasn't able to locate something that had more damaging effect, he went and grabbed a glass bottle and he threw it. So I just would like to be able to figure a way that we can address these issues where you really can't prevent something from happening, but the question is, was it an issue with the club itself, where they were negligent, or whether it was something that they tried to remedy at that moment? So I would appreciate if they can talk for themselves, and then I can look further into it, and maybe we can table this and address it with the officer itself so that I can get clarity.
Of course, thank you. Could you all tell us a little bit about
Yes, I
your
will.
safety precautions?
Yes, we were,
yeah.
you may recall, we were recently in about another incident that occurred in April.
That's right.
Since these incidents, we've instituted, the club has instituted more extensive procedures with the bouncers and more checks. As Officer Cano said, plastic bottles. This was a wine bottle, and they don't make plastic bottles. Evidently, we can't use them for wine. If you read the report, Officer Carroll's report, I would suggest it was almost an incident that was impossible to prevent. The club acted properly and prudently. The bouncer got ahead of the incident, went over the table, tried to calm things down, and it was closing time, I guess, and they were adding up. It was late, and this escalated out of control, and this fellow was hurt, unfortunately. But nothing in the club's action was the cause of that injury, or, in fact, the cause of the incident. The club was checking IDs, the bouncer was in control of the place. But if you read the report of Officer Carroll, who saw it on video, when the problem started, it escalated very rapidly. And it was over as rapidly as it escalated. It was a classic bar fight. But leading up to it, the Blue Lounge staff did everything they could to prevent it. It just was not preventable.
Thank you. And since then, what are the safety precautions that the lounge has taken?
You want to address those, or?
Go ahead.
So the bouncers have been given more training. They're on their feet better. They're more proactive. They're trying to keep tighter control. And in general, and this was caused by somewhat of a loss of control, just one bouncer. How many bouncers do you have now?
6.
Yeah.
6.
We've increased the number to 6. maybe 7, I'm not sure, 6, and we're just keeping a tighter rein on the customers, which is unfortunately necessary in this business, and Mr. Cepeda acknowledges these incidents happened in April. There have been no incidents since, and I think Mr. Cepeda, as the manager of record, is establishing better control and very conscious of it.
Thank you. Commissioner Mike, do you have any questions?
You were here in the last meeting, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I was.
We fined him $1,000, if I remember right.
I understand. These incidents were all in that same time period.
No, I understand it, but I mean, if he's got that type of money to throw away, he could throw something to my house, I need some repairs done, and things like that, you know?
Yes, sir.
But I would say, you know, my experience of being a police officer in the city, I worked a lot of Spanish nightclubs and everything like that, and fights always seem to break out near the end of the night, and that's when his security should be more tough and ready to do something at the end of the night. They don't come in until about 10:30, 11 o'clock. By the time 1 o'clock comes, that's when the drinking gets heavy, and that's when it's going to start.
Yes, sir.
Whatever the police department, if they want to table this to another meeting, I'll go along with it. Otherwise, I'll just leave it the way it is and forget about it this time. But the next time he comes in, it's going to be hard.
Well, hopefully there won't be a next time, and to ensure that he's increased the security and is on premises more himself. I don't have to tell you, especially your experienced police officer, it's not an easy business. And he's very much aware of that, more so than he was back in April.
So, you got any recommendations?
I think that because this is such a, time has elapsed, and I think that we did find him in the last, I think if there was some kind of opportunity to be able to give it some kind of a time lapse to see how things go and see how things progress. I think so far we haven't had any issues, and I think that it's a start in the right direction. And because it's a situation where, from my understanding, was that it was something outside their reach, and they've been trying to act appropriately. I think that taken under advisement and whatever the board decides.
I'll make a motion that we take it under advisement, like the officer said, for a period of 6 months. It stays
So it'll
clear.
be existing, and yeah, I understand.
After a period of 6 months, if nothing happens, then we'll just,
I understand, thank you.
Commissioner Mike, before we do that, I do want to see if Captain Delaney or Director Armano.
Just as a matter of procedure, I just want to get this down. Are you seeking just to table the matter for 6 months, or is there some sort of,
table it for 6 months, or keep it in our files for 6 months, and if it doesn't act up, like the officer says, that changing things around, we'll just dismiss it, because it's an old complaint.
okay. Okay, so you would table it, I don't know if I
Yeah.
heard a motion, but,
We can't,
Well-
we shouldn't table this for 6 months.
Put them on probation for 6 months, then.
okay, just as a matter of procedure, I believe this was brought for, to look at both the license for all alcohol as well as the license for common vic to serve both food and alcohol under Chapter 140. So I believe you would have the options either to dismiss the case, you could table it, of course, you could suspend, revoke either license, you can impose a fine. If you did find that there was improper behavior, I believe there's under the common vic, Chapter 40, there's a mandatory minimum for a second offense within 6 months of a $1,000 fine, but no more than $2,000 if you found that there was an improper.
With all due respect, I think a close reading of the report, especially page 3, where the bouncer went over, would indicate that the Blue Lounge acted properly. It was a situation they couldn't control. Since April, they've increased security and had better procedures. We haven't had any situations. I don't think I would respectfully suggest it's not fair to put them under some impediment as a possible suspension or probation while they're improving. Now, the board has a good memory, as you point out, I mean, if they're in again, you could take appropriate steps. But right now, I don't think the record should reflect anything that will affect their business going forward.
Thank you, Attorney. I will like to add, you've been here multiple times, and I know that you take your business extremely serious. As a board and as a commission, our role is to make sure that you have the resources you need to keep your business running in a healthy way, and that you're taking into consideration the safety of all residents. So I am inclined to dismiss this, but we need to ensure that this will not happen again. Like, I don't ever want to see you back here other than in your actual business, enjoying your space. I think that you're offering good ambiance to the community. I know a ton of folks go to where you're at. We would hate to see you out of business, and that's not what we're here for. So even before it gets to this place, please use us, because we're residents of the community. We want to see you succeed. I really don't want to give you another fine. I don't think it's right for what you're trying to do. And considering that we're moving into a recession, we should take these things into consideration for our residents and small businesses. I will pass it on to Mike for this, because
I'll make a motion, we dismiss it.
second. Roll call.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Fifth on the agenda is Mateo Supermarket and Corp., 89-89B Newbury Street. Point of information, does it matter if they're not here?
I think you could use your discretion, Madam Chair, Mr. Commissioner. Just a point of information on this applicant. They have been working with the city. This is Mateo Supermarket, 8989B Newbury Street. Both myself and Captain Delaney have been in this establishment. It is a retail small grocery store that's looking to expand by virtue of a common vic license to offer some hot foods and service in the back of their restaurant. I know they've also worked with the building commissioner. They've installed a commercial kitchen with a fire suppression system, and they're doing a little bit of work. So we've been in constant communication. As far as I'll speak on behalf of Inspectional Services and let Captain Delaney speak, I would see nothing wrong with you moving forward with this application without speaking to the applicant based on my knowledge of it.
Thank you.
Make a motion to approve it.
Second. Roll call.
Yes.
Yes. And last on the agenda is a one-day mall and beverage license for the Three Saints, Inc.
Good evening. My name is Wayne Peters, and I'm representing the Feast of the Three Saints. I'm the feast chairman for this year, our 99th feast. And just to make one comment, it's not one day. We're operating on three days, September 2, 3, and 4.
Officer Cano?
Good evening. I don't have any questions. This is a yearly event, and I'm sure that you've taken care of all those issues regarding policing and all that stuff, so.
Yes, we've met with Jay Cirillo on 2 occasions already, and he's fine with the plan that we have set up.
I have no questions.
Captain Delaney?
Fire department is very familiar with this event, we have no questions.
Thank you.
Director Armano?
Thank you. Inspectional Services is also familiar with the event. Just a point of information for the board. You have the authority to issue up to 30 days in a calendar year of one-day licenses. They can be consecutive or one a week, whatever your preference is.
Thank you.
I'm very well aware about the Three Saints. I have no problem with it, so.
Point of information, do we approve it for the 3 days? Like, we could just do the duration of the feast instead of doing one by one?
That is correct.
Okay, perfect. I approve the 3 days. I'm excited to go.
Make a motion, we pass it.
Second,
Thank you very much.
roll call.
Yes.
Yes,
All right, thank you again. Good night.
of course. Motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Second, roll call.
Yes.
Yes.